Well, hello folks, and welcome to A Sportsman's Life. I'm Luke Clayton and my two good buddies,
Jeff Rice
and Larry Weissoon, and we're so proud that you're with us this week. I'll be very honest with you, I have no idea where we're going.
There is no telling, but it's going to be fun.
We're going to have a good time, folks. Stay tuned. We have another great adventure on A Sportsman's Life coming your way.
Well, friends, I am down here with my buddy, Mr. Tony Pennebaker, Guide Deluxe right here. Tony and I got out here early this morning, and we were going to go fishing. It came a deluge, big rain, but we're at the dock right behind your house, aren't we, buddy?
Right on the dock, right in the backyard.
Right, and we're going to do some channel catfishing. Tony's got some good old sour grain and stuff right here that we're going
to. It ought to draw them in.
It'll draw them in. Here, one of the top guides in the state of Texas, Catfish Guide, me and him fishing with corks here on the bank. But it was just too rough out on the water. So we just decided to sit back and I bet we're going to catch some, Tony. I don't see how with that rain.
Give them a minute, they'll come around.
Got some good old cheese bait of some sort right there on our number 6 treble hook. So let's, you gonna bait it up, then we'll see what happens. What do you say? Tony's gonna put some chum out here, just right here at the dock. And we're gonna just do some channel catfishing right here right behind Tony's house. Tony, that ought to do it looking, that'll call them in here, won't it? You got a good one on there, don't you, buddy?
Yeah, pretty good there.
Right here off the dock. Folks, we've been fishing, we baited up in there. Yeah, get that rascal in here if you can.
I got him tired out here. Let's see if we can pick him up. Put him out over here.
Oh, yes, sir. I'll tell you what, folks, I'm on Tony's dock here behind his house. It was real windy. We just decided we'd bait up a spot off the dock here with sour grain and all kind of concoction here.
We've been fishing a little while. We drawed in a couple.
Yeah.
That's a nice
Let me pull in on him, boy.
there.
That's a darn nice fish, you betcha. Well, Tony, I tell you, buddy, I'm sitting on enough fish for me and you to have a fish fry in this cooler. We've been here, what, an hour? Got 4 or 5 fish in here, plenty to eat. I don't know if we want to really clean them. You know, go up there on the bank and have a fish fry or just keep catching them. I guess we need to just keep on fishing.
Yeah, man, just keep on fishing a while.
All right, Mr.
Go from there.
Tony Pennebaker, he's been on our show many times, and I've written about Tony a lot. He's on the radio show quite frequently, keeping everybody tuned in on Tawakoni. Tony, not that you're going to take your guide customers here on the dock like me and you're doing. We're just friend fishing here. But if they want to call you, how do they reach you?
Oh, just give me a call, 903-474-3078. You can look me up on Facebook, Thunder Cove, Lake Tawakoni Guide.
Now, we're going to get back to fishing.
Right now.
And later, we're going to cook some fish.
We might cook some there for a while.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jeff Rice. Thanks for joining us here on Our Sportsman's Life. So, when you're not out hunting and fishing, always fun things to do in the outdoors, even though you may not be in the woods or on the waters. Last week, I was out with my wife. We were actually shopping. We were hitting a flea market and a couple antique malls, just something she really likes to do. And I spend time with her doing that as well. Always fun and cool things that you can find that are outdoor related. Now, I in particular, I like to collect old hunting and fishing things. As you can see behind me, I've got a part of my collection of old fishing lures But you know, old minnow buckets and old boxes of shotgun shells, just different things outdoor related. And of course I've got some decorating that I've done in my home that's all kind of related to the old outdoor stuff, which I think is kind of cool. So last week we were at this flea market, and for 20 bucks I picked up this box, which is a creek chub fishing lure. And this is kind of what I want to just spend a few moments talking about. You know, kind of the value, what to look for fishing lures. You can get fishing lures, I mean, like the novelty fishing lures. Some people collect, you know, one type of fishing lure all in one color, you know, there's assorted colors. You know, it depends on what you're looking for. I just enjoy picking up lures at a reasonable rate, and I do two things. One, I hang them on the wall and display them, and some of the beat up ones I actually fish with. I think that's a lot of fun. Take an old tackle box out when you're with your buddies and pull out that old tackle box when they're fishing with their, you know, their new lures, and you pull out an old lure, hook it on there, and some of those old lures are tried and true. You go out there and you can actually catch a lot of good fish on them. So don't think for a minute that's not something fun to do. But anyway, this box, as you can see, is a creek chub lure. I just want to kind of go over it with you real quick and show you what I picked up here for 20 bucks. But as you can see, what does make a lure more valuable? Well, number one, having it in the original package that's marked the original color makes it more valuable. So this old creek chub has the box. Box is in pretty good shape. One little spot there on it, but it's labeled correctly. Inside the box, of course, we have our lure. There you have it. This is a creek chub dingbat made with horsehair. It's made out of wood, got glass eyes. But you can look at this lure and you can see that this lure has never been fished with. No crack in the eyes, no crack in the paint. You know, the horsehair tail feathers are intact and not pulling out. The hooks are new. The hardware is new. This lure right here is probably worth a few $100s. I picked it up for 20 bucks at a flea market. It's that kind of stuff. It's just fun. Get out there, find stuff like this, and start a little collection. I actually started this collection with my grandfather's lures. I probably have 30, maybe 20 or 30 that were my grandfather's that he and my grandmother used many times, many years. And after Grandpa passed away, of course, I got his tackle box and started from there collecting lures. It's just a heck of a lot of fun, and they're kind of neat to look at. So there you go, a creek chub dingbat in like mint condition. I paid 20 bucks for it. What the heck, it's a lot of fun. So folks, thanks for joining us here on Our Sportsman's Life. We've got more stuff coming up, so stay tuned.
Well, folks, it is your old buddy Luke, and it's time for an outdoor cooking segment, I think. It's been a little while since we've had one of these, but I bet all of you enjoy fresh bread cooked at camp in a Dutch kettle. Maybe you've never had it, but we're going to show you right here how easy it is. Now, we're going to go outside in a little bit, and I'm going to, you know, put all this in the Dutch kettle with the coals, and we're going to actually bake this good bread. But we start off with 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Now that's in this bowl right here. That's what you're looking at. And 2 teaspoons of active yeast. You can see that if you look real close. I've just sprinkled it on the top there. The active yeast. 1 teaspoon of salt. And over here is 1 1/2 cups of water in the bowl here. Of course, this is the yeast. I'm using Fleshman's active dry yeast. So I mean, this is such a simple recipe, but this is the start of it right here. Basically, I'm going to take the water here, pour it in there, and just knead this bread real well. Now, I like a little bit of a tangy taste to bread that I cook in a Dutch kettle, so this is we're going to leave it in the refrigerator for a couple of days, and it'll almost be the flavor of sourdough bread, but it's going to be really good. So I'm going to mix all this up, put it in the refrigerator, and get it ready for camp. And then when we resume here, we're going to be at camp and we're going to use the Dutch kettle and bake the bread. So stick with me. Well, folks, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to get us some charcoal going right here. It's a little bit too wet out here at camp to build this fire on the ground. I've got this little, it's actually a little old grill, but I use it for a lot of my Dutch kettle cooking. We've got 25 briquettes, and I thought it'd be more important for you to see what I'm doing than to see me in it. I'm kind of a one-man show out here. But we're going to get these briquettes to until they're white. And then I've got our, you remember the dough, the bread that I had all mixed up? Well, I've got it in a Dutch kettle right here. It's already in the bottom of the Dutch kettle. Put a little oil in there so it wouldn't stick. So what we're going to do is let these briquettes get white hot, and then we're going to put this dough, this bread dough, down in here, and I'm going to tell you how I position the charcoal briquettes. You don't want too many underneath it. It's important to have you know, the majority of them up on top. So let's let our coals get just right, and then we'll start, we'll put our Dutch kettle on there and get our bread to cooking. How about it? Okay, folks, we have our Dutch kettle loaded with coals, and this is the part that I want you to really track with me on. On top, you see, you know, a Dutch kettle has the recessed lid. We have 10 coals on top scattered around. Now you can't see it, but right down in the bottom down here, underneath in the very center is 4 distributed around, 4 coals, and then around the perimeter of it you'll see these coals all the way around the base. There's probably 12 coals. They're not in the middle, they're just on the perimeter, on the outside at the bottom. So what we're going to do is let this cook about 20-25 minutes, and then by then the aroma is going to probably be getting the best of me. But about 20-25 minutes, I'm going to use some vice grips and pull the top off of this, and we're going to test it. It may have to cook another 10 minutes, but that's, you know, kind of cold out here today, so that's the only way we'll know is to really check it. So let's let it cook for about 20 more minutes. We got our bread in there. It'll start steaming and smelling really good here in a few minutes, but let's pull the top off in about 20 minutes and see how it looks. What do you say? Folks, here is our finished product. Brought it in the camp house here. Here we have some buttered up and ready to partake of. So there you go, nothing to cooking the bread out on the Dutch kettle. You just need to watch your temperature. It was real windy outside, and I had to cook this about 50 minutes to get it fully done, but have these pieces right here all buttered up. Tell you what, folks, I'm going to sample this right now. If it tastes anything as near as good as it smells, it's going to be in for some good eating. You could do this too at camp. Just kind of save the video here and just, you know, rewind and check out some of the details, but it's very, very simple to do. You can make your dough at home and then keep it in a cooler there, take it out to camp, and then, you know, 45, 50 minutes later, bingo, you've got your own bread. Well, folks, here is what's left of the finished product here. You can tell my fellow hunters here wanted to take a quick sample, and I do get a big thumbs up on this. I sampled some of it too with some butter. Simple to make in a Dutch kettle, folks. Camp bread. The crust is a little, you know, little chewy, which is the way we like it, but it's very, very tender on the inside. You can see the look of it there, but that's you can do this too just as easily as I did. Camp bread, folks, and if you maybe forget some of the ingredients, you know, just rewind this little video. We went over it in the very beginning, exactly what you need to do. Hope you enjoyed it. Wish you were here with me. We'd have us some buttered, fresh made hot bread.
We've got a piece of property here that we're kind of keeping the cattle out for the time being, so trying to get a bunch of little different things coming up. Lance has a bunch of, I guess it's more wildflowers or native flowers, natural flowers that we're planting, because he and Teresa are going to be putting in bees here in a not very long time. It's about time it starts cooling off, or warming up a little bit, I guess I should say. We do that, and basically what he's doing is planting right now some things that produce a fair amount of nectar and pollen both. So trying to create a little bit more food for the bees, even though there's a fair amount of natural things here. We came in here just right after a little bit of a rain, and I think this is going to work really well. We've already planted some a few days ago, and really all he's doing is just kind of disturbing the soil, and so that you kind of get rid of some of the other grass growth that's here. And we'll see, come back and look at these in about a week or two. We've got a cold spell coming in that's supposed to take temperatures down below freezing, so I'm going to put some of this out right now. And got some that we planted in the past, not very long ago, and hopefully that freeze will not destroy those. But in case it does, I guess we'll just come back and redo it. But one of the many little things that you can do to just kind of create wildlife habitat in terms of food for these animals, whether it's be for the bees or whether it's for some of the other pollinators, or whether it's for seeds for birds, be it game birds or non-game birds. And just little things that you can do this time of the year, like in February and March. There's all kinds of sources of flowers, and you can buy all kinds of mixtures too that are good for hummingbirds, good for bees, good for all kinds of wildlife. So just one of the many things, as I said, that you can do to improve the wildlife habitat in your area, whether it's on your property, out in the country, or whether it's in your backyard.
Folks, thank you so much for joining us here on our Sportsman's Life. I mean, what a great adventure we had today again, and looking forward to another great adventure next week, huh, boys?
You betcha. I'm ready to go.
I'm not. I want to stay right here. Y'all join us next week.
And a special thanks to these fine sponsors: Air Force Air Guns, B&B Charcoal, Dallas Safari Club, Hornady, Pyramid Air, Nielsen Specialty Ammo, Sightmark, Smokin' Tex, Snap Block Hunting Blinds, Texas Raised Hunting Products, and Striper Express.